Whoa, what's that, Dave East? It was written, it's the Career Seeker Show. It was written, East High, Harlem. Wow, love Dave East. AB.
Yeah.
We are here from 4 to 5 every Wednesday. We usually take a break, and then usually when we come after the break, you come up with this excellent topic that we need to discuss and share with our career seekers. But before we do that, I want to shout out some people that have been checking in on the East Coast Executive Facebook fan page.
Definitely.
P. Gomez, P. and Maria, I really appreciate y'all. Thank you so very much. Scott McGlee, I know you hold me down. Tommy D, Bronx, New York City, I see you checking in. Thank you so very much. Faithful Facebook fan page checker, Sonia, I won't call her Sonia K because that's what we call her where I'm from, but she knows who she is. She always checks in. So that's what we do. I just wanted to shout out everybody that Lynette Marie, my cousin, I love you. Thanks for checking in. Everybody that really checks in from week to week on the East Coast Executive Facebook fan page. We just appreciate you guys so much. I know that you have other things that you could be doing.
Especially 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
You've taken the time to tune in and share like an hour with us here at the Career Seeker Show. So that's all love. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see a couple of y'all in a couple of weeks when I go to my family reunion out there in Western Pennsylvania. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
it's going to be crazy. They're going to all tell me, yo, your radio show is garbage. And
it's going to be all love.
Will knows my family. They'll shoot me down in a second. Nah, they always show love for me. They're so happy and appreciative of what we do here. So I just want to show it back. I love y'all. So I play around a lot. So AB.
I'm gonna get emotional. I've been crying since yesterday.
Yeah, man, it was your birthday yesterday.
I know. It was so good.
Man, we should have had a birthday cake. We could have played Rihanna birthday cake. Hold on, who has the song Birthday Cake?
You were not playing that song.
We might have been.
I think we would. Every single word we're not supposed to say in that song, right?
So maybe we could have played the Stevie Wonder Happy Birthday. Yeah, that probably would have been more.
That would have been perfect.
We can't just do it. We can't do it the normal way.
I appreciate it.
Hey, Tiff, know what, Tiff? When you come back, I know it's a month from now, but you bring cupcakes for Alberta. I know you're sitting with a cupcake right now. Tiff South has a cupcake right now, and she can bring one for Alberta in a month when she returns.
That'll be hilarious.
You know, that will be hilarious. I'm waiting for her to come back next month, but I'm really also excited that Tania Rivers is going to join us on the 9th. It is going to be crazy, man. We're going to have a blast out there with her. So, really Will has met Tania. Well, I know you got a lot of things going on. Will you be here next week?
Yeah, I'll be here next week.
All right, beautiful.
Okay, all right. We got it on tape now, though. So
we got it.
I'll be here next week.
You know, I'm doing Workplace Wednesdays now from the Jersey Shore, so I'm going to be here next week.
Can you talk a little bit about that? What's going on?
Okay, so due to some changes in my schedule, I am available on Wednesdays now to do what I love to do, and that is work from the shore. We do Workplace Wednesdays at East Coast Executives, where we take the team to the Jersey Shore and we just work from the beach. We go, we try to have breakfast early at our favorite place in the AC area, and then we set up shop on the shore. You know, it's in today's day and age of technology, we have hotspots. You can log on to Wi-Fi, so we're able to work if we so desire, which we do. We're hard workers.
I'm just checking.
So we work.
I know you own your own company. Like
yes.
You're your own boss. So I can't.
So we have to work. We have to work. I mean, we can't drive around and eat and all of that if we don't work. So that's just the deal that we've made with one another, that we want to come down and work. And here's the thing about Workplace Wednesdays. So even when we're in the office, we work, but you know, there's so many other distractions. So if you go to the shore and if we say, okay, from 10 to 2, we're going to put in 4 hours of just pounding and work. I think on occasion we get more accomplished at the shore than we actually do in the office.
Yeah, I wish I could remember the percentage of an 8-hour workday, how much work you actually are doing, but it might be that.
It's unbelievable. I really think, and then for what it does for team building alone, is priceless. So it's Workplace Wednesdays, East Coast Executives, live from the Jersey Shore. If there's anybody in Jersey that really wants to holler at us, we will put it on the Career Seekers Twitter page. Actually, we'll put it on at EC, Philly at EC, on the pages as well, where we're going to be at the show, and we'll connect with you. That's what we do.
So what I saw when you posted earlier is, are you working with seagulls and the crabs on the sand? I didn't see any laptops or phones.
So if you look behind where the camera was coming from,
I saw some casinos up there.
If you look from behind where the cameras were, we have a whole little compound going on over there.
Nice. I love it.
You know, I just saw an article, and I think it was in Philly.com, about people basically setting up a compound at the beach. So we try not to do that, but we do try to bring enough technology with us to do what it is that we need to do. But sometimes you have to take it old school, and just the conversations amongst coworkers and the conversations with your clients really just prove to be invaluable, because that's what we need to get back to, just having conversations.
That's it. So. Right. Speaking of which, though, that's one of our first lists that I brought to the table.
So talk to me about that list. I love that transition.
Yes. So 5 expert tips on preparing for a phone interview. Now, phone interviews can be either with, and usually it's with the recruiter. We call it a phone screen, and that's to get information from you, talk about your resume. But then you also have you can have a phone interview with the hiring manager, especially if you're not in the same location. A lot of times they'll do that. This is strictly a phone interview. We're not talking about a Skype interview, which is another level of preparation. But so it's an early part of the interview process typically. We're looking for communication skills. But this is to give you tips, career seekers, on kind of how to get ready for that interview. Usually you'll know if it's going to be, it's about a half an hour to an hour. So tip number one.
No, but AB, before you get started. So now typically, correct me if I'm wrong, the phone screen usually will come from your area of the world, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So initially you might not get the hiring manager,
you might hear a sourcer.
Okay. Explain to the audience what a sourcer actually is.
Right, and it has nothing to do with Harry Potter.
That's a real thing. We have to really address that, though.
It's not a sorcerer. It's a sorcerer.
He-Man.
What's that?
He-Man.
Oh my God! Wow, that's really taking it back. He-Man, everybody. So, so a sourcer is someone that assists the talent acquisition or recruiting department in finding qualified candidates. So the sourcer will find you in a LinkedIn search, if they have access to any of the job boards like Indeed or Career Builder, they will source you out, give you a call, find out, what you're looking for, maybe salary-wise, talk through a little bit about the company, but not a full-on discussion, but just try to gather as much information from you to see if then they can forward you on to the recruiter or the hiring manager to see if they want to move forward. So after that's done, the recruiter will give you a call, typically, and then the recruiter will delve more into your background, more into your skill set that matches the job description for the type of position they're looking for. Maybe there'll be the transferable skills that we keep talking about. They'll try to get into that. Then the recruiter hands you off, tries to set up an interview with the hiring manager and or maybe some people on the team.
All right, so we're going to speak about how we prepare for that phone screen.
For a phone interview. Yeah,
let's do it.
That's right. Okay, so number one tip, and I love this because 90% of the people I talk to do not research my company.
That is unbelievable. Well, you know what? Your name kind of speaks for itself.
Sure, but still,
you want to know more than just the name.
Right, you want to know where our footprint is. Right. Are we publicly held?
Gotcha.
What do we do in those particular areas?
Sure.
We have very different regulated and non-regulated businesses. You should know by just reading the job description which business that fits in. You don't have to know all of the details I know, but at least research it.
Well, and I would imagine that if someone does know more than just what the average person knows, that would pique the interest of a recruiter.
I'm probably going to put you right over to them. Yeah, I love that.
Sure. Which you can get from a standard Google search or a Glassdoor search, probably.
And even their own website.
Their own website. Yeah, your website, right? Exactly. Gotcha.
I mean, it's easy as that, Kenneth. You
Gotcha.
don't have to, But so a lot of the times, questions about the company. If you ask questions about the company, say, "Oh yeah, I read this," and it just opens up the dialogue. And you said a little bit earlier, it's about having conversations, and that's what the recruiter is going to try to have a conversation with you to get a little bit more your personality, the way you answer things. So,
so the first thing is research the company.
Absolutely.
What's number 2?
Be prepared to discuss your background.
Okay.
So a lot of people will forget that they submitted a resume somewhere.
Oh yeah, and then they get the phone call.
They get the phone call.
Okay, I got you.
And I'm talking to you about it, and you will either forget that you put something on the resume, it won't be clear or connected to your LinkedIn profile.
Sure.
So, and it's being able to discuss your story, and especially if there's any holes in your resume. Why are there holes? You don't have to go into your whole personal life, but just give me a little bit of background. If you switch jobs several times, I'm going to ask you about that. Be prepared to talk about it. Rather than avoid it, just get right in there, talk about it, about your history and background.
And do you suggest like you start off speaking about accomplishments or kind of where you add value, or how's that conversation go?
We'll let the recruiter lead it, because the recruiter will start asking you about pieces of your resume a lot of times, or they'll describe the job description to you again. A lot of times you'll have applied to a job and then you'll forget what the job's about. So you can also ask the recruiter to tell me about the job.
Excellent.
Tell me about the position.
Sure.
So this is your interview too. It's not just all about them.
Indeed.
So then, so let them pick through and lead the conversation, but don't be afraid to tell your story about it.
So number 3.
Eliminate distractions and background noise. See, we were just talking about distractions. I can't even say distractions.
I worked with a recruiter. So in the world of third-party recruiting, sometimes we do a thing called splits. So where I'll receive a job order, and because I haven't sourced the amount of candidates I would like, I may reach out to another recruiter and say, listen, I'll do a split with you, which means I'll split the money, the placement fee, if you have some candidates that can make the cut, right? So I had a guy that I worked with, and he had an excellent candidate. Somewhere upstate New York, his candidate existed. So we were working with a client company out of New York. But it was incredible because she told me that the candidate had a bird, and the bird, she could hear the bird in the background keep talking. It was like a parakeet or whatever. And it really just distracted her to the point that she had no interest in the candidate. And I just like, man, you lost the job opportunity because you didn't put your bird in another room. Really, that's what it came down to.
It's 100%. So I had a candidate one time, she was washing dishes. I heard the rattling of the dishes, the water running. I finally asked her, can we reschedule? And then I never heard from her again.
Oh, but yeah.
So you know what? Then that's
fine with
it. But the thing is too. So what we do in my company, safety is our #1 value. And even if you're on a headset, Bluetooth in your car, I can't talk to you. You need to pull over. And so there's.
You know what? It's interesting that you say that. I was doing a reference last week. I believe it was Wednesday, and they asked me, the person doing the reference was like, "Is this a good time for you to talk?" And I'm like, "Sure. I'm just driving to the radio show, to my show." And she was like, "Oh, I can call you back then." And I'm like, "I'm fine." And she's like, "Are you on a headset or a Bluetooth?" And it just shocked me that she asked me that question. I'm like, again, I'm fine. And I didn't mean to be rude, but I was stressed out a little because I was rushing. But I guess she was doing what she was required to do.
And I've asked people, I'm sorry, I need to hang up the phone, we need to reschedule.
Wow.
Call me when you're stopped. And that's considered a distraction.
So is your company liable if something happens? Is that
no?
Okay.
It's just that we So no, it's even on our. It's not even really courtesy. It just is that important, because we're providing safe drinking water.
So good point. Okay,
company, right? So we want to do everything else safely. And that's getting people to from home, But the thing is, the things about the distractions and the background noise. So even if you're in the car, what if somebody veers over towards you?
Sure.
What if you have to slam on the brakes? There's anything that could happen. So you want to be somewhere focused and engaged completely in the interview.
So that was 3, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, moving on to number 4. So prepare answers for these questions. Ready?
Yes, let me hear these questions. I really want to hear this.
What most interests you about the position?
Okay, you should know that.
What are your impressions of the position? And what do you think you'll be doing in the position, in the role?
Interesting questions.
Yeah, because it's more than a job description,
sure.
so think about it. Tell me why you'd be a good fit.
Okay.
And so this one I'm not sure I 100% agree with. What are your goals for the next 5 years? And we talked a little bit about this last time, and I said, I want to go save the big cats, and you guys all make fun of me. So I don't know, the goals for the next 5 years. If you're 22, clearly your goals are a little different than if you're, because sometimes you want to stay in a long-term position. It depends, I think, where you are.
I'm interested in hearing your take on that as an experienced recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel someone should answer that question? What would you tell our listeners? Because, and I ask this because of this.
Yeah.
We have a question in the queue that it's exactly the same question.
Oh my
How
God.
do I answer that question? And I was going to rely on you.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to get to those questions today.
No.
However, let's answer that one. What do you suggest?
Yeah, well, like I was just saying, I think it really depends on your age too,
Sure.
and maybe you want to be a manager in 5 years.
Okay.
Maybe you don't. And that's okay. Being an individual contributor is okay. But answer the question honestly. Answer the question with some enthusiasm about what you've thought about 5-10 years of what you want to be doing.
Gotcha.
And even if it is, sometimes people joke around. Well, I want your job.
Well, I don't think they're joking sometimes when they say that. Yeah, I think
at least it shows
it.
a little. If you're not saying it in a cocky way, and if you want to, you're saying it because you mean it, that you're enthusiastic and you want to be a go-getter. That's great. I think that's great. So. And then the next one is, what's the most important accomplishment of your career? A lot of what we look at as recruiters are metrics. How can we measure your success in any given role or even in your entire career? So be ready to talk about that. And then a lot of times, if you can't think readily, maybe you've been doing a leadership role in volunteer aspect. You can bring that up too. That's even part of your career.
So I have another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So when people speak about accomplishments, in your opinion as a recruiter, does it have to be related to an employment accomplishment?
I don't think so.
No?
No, because I think of all of my volunteer experiences as part of my career.
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
So how about if it's something, so say it's an entry-level employee, it's a recent college grad,
Okay.
and maybe they speak, let's just say, I don't know, who was the Steelers' first-round draft pick? What's his name? The guy Watt from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So I don't think they won the Big Ten, but let's just say they did. Oh, you know what? He was all Big Ten selection. So an accomplishment. Well, I was selected to the All Big Ten conference team.
That's fabulous.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So you can take an accomplishment that's completely outside of the realm of the position.
Yeah, because it shows your teamwork, your commitment, so that shows kind of your work ethic.
Okay.
Same thing if say you were an athlete and were the team captain. Say you play an instrument and you sat first chair for the orchestra. Those are big accomplishments, especially if you don't have the job background.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you could speak to that, that's great.
Okay.
But with any of these, there's really no wrong answer.
Okay.
It's how you approach it, how you answer it, how you're being honest and kind of don't be ridiculous with some personal information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But recruiters generally will respect you if you have an answer that you can give.
So from your side of the recruitment desk, do your phone screens tend to be conversational?
Yes.
Or is it a Q&A?
So I started off with informational, because I do tell a lot about the company and where we are, and then get more into, say it's at a particular facility, so I'll talk about the facility and the team that's around there. Then I will get into I'll start with where I see their skills or whatever's on their resume speaks to the job description, then ask them to expand on it.
Okay.
And so and then I might interject something, and then it becomes a conversation more so, not just, Because if it doesn't become a conversation, I don't know if you would be a good fit for.
Wow,
company.
really? Okay,
Yeah,
so you're
because if
looking
you're
for it to
giving-
be a conversation.
Yeah, because I want.
Because your culture is
Absolutely,
very,
yeah,
okay.
especially in the one group that I support. We sit on military services,
Gotcha.
we sit on military bases. It's very teamwork, camaraderie, yeah.
You know, I saw an article, I believe it was on LinkedIn, and they were speaking to why companies don't hire veterans. And I meant to share that with you.
Yeah, I wanna see that.
I want to try to find it. It came across my timeline, but I
Yeah.
thought of you instantly, and I think
Yeah.
I must have been on
It's
my phone or
absurd.
something.
Yeah,
But you know, it was they were giving points, and you know, the one thing I will say when I've worked at events where I've done career coaching for veterans, it's been really important for them to explain to me what that MOS is. You know,
okay.
what their actual job was, because
Yeah.
sometimes I don't understand the terminology as it relates to
Yeah.
the position they're applying to.
Yeah,
So that's
but they
been
don't
really
understand
important.
either. That's
Exactly,
a real
exactly.
problem. There's
So-
still that connection between and the crosswalk between the two. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll talk about that next week. You know.
We could do an all veteran
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah.
if you
Let's
want.
see.
Yeah, I have. There's some people. Alex Archowski. I know you'd love to come in here and talk about
Yeah,
getting
we maybe
veterans
need to
to
do a
work.
show. So maybe that won't be next week. You know,
Oh,
hey,
Ashley's
Will.
online. Hey, Ashley. Thanks for dialing in.
Hey, Will, we could do a veterans a show, and then we could talk to.
Ashley wants to know why veterans aren't being hired.
We're going to talk about that next week.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
We'll get
you know,
to it.
next week with Tania Rivers here, we can talk about veterans free agents.
There you
we can
go.
talk about, we can talk about the Amir Johnson
She's with
and
the Sixers,
JJ
that's
Redick.
what
We
he
can,
keeps saying.
we can, we can talk about.
Oh my gosh, do you see what
some
time it
veterans.
is?
I do see what time it is. You know,
Crazy.
I'm hired to make sure I know what time it is.
Yes.
So speaking of time, AB, I guess it's that time where we start speaking to the career seeker listeners and thanking them for tuning in. They do it every
Absolutely.
week.
Your support is phenomenal.
Yes.
I see more and more people when I scroll and looking at the people that are tuning in. It's just great.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I love it. Look, listen, please keep supporting us. We are trying to win a Cammy here at Philly Cam. Yeah, so keep supporting us. Vanessa, I got you. Yeah, hey, listen, we do it here every Wednesday from 4 to 5 live on WPPM LP Philadelphia. I'd like to thank all the listeners here at 106.5 in Philly. All the people that tune in on Facebook Live, thank you so very much. Yes. The live streamers on phillycam.org, we really appreciate you too. As we had mentioned, next week we will be joined by Tania Rivers, Vice President of Human Resources from the Philadelphia 76ers. We're not interviewing her, she's just coming to hang out and co-host with us. So that's what we're going to do.
It'll be fun.
Also, on behalf of Philly Cam, the Career Seekers team, Alberta Bertolino, Tiffany Sutherland, Will Martin, I'm Kenneth L. Johnson. Again, thanks for tuning in. Yo, Gee, is it a wrap?
It's a wrap, Gould.
Yeah, let's do it, Philly. All right, we'll be back next week. Harlem,
Have a
Philly,
great
let's
week.
go. All right. All right, I want to get in a little early, so we can
So,
we'll let this song play.
was I not supposed to say the word cocky?
No, you're
I'm not gonna get in trouble for that one.
You're good there.
As I said it, I was like,
Yeah, you're good, right there. I got 10 seconds for the song.
I had no idea you played music when we're talking about the roundup. I had no idea. Hi.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you in. Yep.
Yep, we're getting on.